I've had 26,819 comments on this channel, and the same questions keep coming up. So today I'm going to answer your top 5 sexless marriage questions. The first, which has been asked 1,951 times, is this: what do I do if nothing changes? Should I stay, leave, or just accept it? Your relationships are supposed to bring you health. So if there is an aspect of your relationship that is taking your health away, that's a really serious place to be. So should I stay, leave, or just accept it? That's obviously something that you'd need to answer for yourself. If something about the relationship is really harming you, as in you have to give up on something incredibly important to you in order to remain in the relationship, that is a serious position to be in. So what I would probably suggest is that you tell your spouse that you're questioning whether you should stay or whether you should leave. And huge amounts of you won't do that. That's one of the things that I've become aware of, because when I work with clients individually, they tell me that they haven't actually let their wife know that, which is interesting to me. So that's perhaps where I would start. If I was genuinely considering leaving my marriage because something about the marriage was making me that miserable, the first thing I would do is be very honest about that. And then I'd go and get help. So I'd go and see a professional, or if I was lucky enough to have a friend that I trusted enough, that was wise enough, useful enough, that kind of a person, then I would speak to them. But I'd be definitely speaking to somebody else, and I'd be telling my partner that that's what I was doing and that was why. Second on the list, asked 1,615 times, can a marriage actually survive without sex? Yes, they definitely can. Lots of you are surviving marriages without sex. You are surviving, but you're definitely not thriving. So for me, it's all about that word, thrive. Are you thriving? What has to happen within your marriage in order for you to thrive? That's a good question. I think that generally about my life, what is it that I have to do for myself or to have access to in life in order to thrive? That is what human well-being really centers around. So yes, you can survive a dreadful sexless marriage or an emotionless marriage. You can survive a marriage where both people barely ever connect, but you won't thrive within that. So that's what I think about that. At number 3, with 883 comments, is sexual withholding abusive, manipulative, or just plain unfair? This is a very serious question. If you know that your withholding sex is causing your partner distress, then you are perhaps in danger of behaving in a neglectful way. If you know. So if you're with a decent human being who generally works hard for the good of the relationship, they take care of you, they take care of themselves, they take care of the children, all the responsibilities, not perfectly, but well enough, and they've told you that being sexual with you is incredibly important to them, so then you're in somewhat dangerous terrain. So you may not be thinking, I'm going to harm you by doing this, but withholding, that for me, there's something around neglect. So it's neglectful behavior, which is harmful behavior. So I don't know, abusive is a very strong word, and you'd have to look into each case and that would take time. You'd have to analyze carefully each situation to work out whether it was abuse, but certainly harmful. Is it harmful to knowingly withhold something that is loved? Yes, definitely. Fourth, and asked 782 times, what about porn or cheating when someone is starved of intimacy? If I was so starved of intimacy in a relationship that I was considering cheating or using porn, I would be Yes, causing trouble about that. I wouldn't be personally willing to go for a digital sex life or a sex life that was dishonest, that essentially turned me into a liar for the relationship. I just wouldn't do that. I'd consider that adding another set of problems to an established gigantic problem, which I'm not in the habit of doing. So, yes, I'd be telling my partner, our relationship is making me so unwell that I'm considering harming myself. And that's really serious. And I'd expect that to be taken very seriously by my partner. Yeah, so I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do those things to myself. I would be getting us to a couples therapist, or at least seeing a therapist myself, because I'd recognize that I was in serious trouble. And rounding out the top 5 with 672 questions asked, what can you do when sex dies after children, perimenopause or menopause? I think the first thing to say on this is that if you have let sex die, or if sex has died within your relationship, for whatever reason, you've probably got more problems or a deeper problem, a more complex problem than a sex problem, because healthy people don't let sex die, ever. They recognize that sex is a really lovely, bonding, healthy part of a relationship, and they want to keep that alive. So what they'll notice along the way, perhaps when the kids arrive or she starts to experience hormonal changes, they'll course correct. So she might go to a specialist clinic for help with her menopause, or they recognize that the kids are staying up late at night and they can't have sex the way that they were, so they'll have sex in the day. Or he gets stressed at work and their sex life is impacted that way. But whatever it is that's going on, they notice it and they will work together to deal with whatever those changes are. So yes, if sex has died, I think you've got more than a sex problem. And what I would suggest, if that is the case, obviously, is that you get help, either on your own or as a couple. That's it for this week. If you happen to have a specific question that you'd like me to answer, you could become a member and then I'll answer it for you whilst I go for a walk with my dog Goose. Get in touch if you need some support. See you next week. Until then, to yourselves and to others, tell the truth.